Every year, thousands of students across the country begin their flight training. Whether it's overcoming fear, a career in aviation, or the enjoyment of flying, students start by enrolling in flight school. On the Sunshine Coast, Go Fly Aviation, operated by Damien Wills and his team of instructors, work hard, have fun, and teach everyday people to fulfill their dream of taking flight.
We're going to now leave across the Indian Ocean, which is a south to north route, through the ITCZ. And you know there are going to be storms. So we plan to leave at 4 o'clock in the morning. We get to the airfield, we're ready to leave probably by 5. We're taxiing out. Oh, hold on. We've got to come and see the tower. Can't we, no, got to come in. So we go in, and it was a problem with the Sri Lankan side. They weren't allowed to release us, because now you're going on I think the leg was 24 or 25 hours, I can't remember. So it's a little bit longer, and you know, it's not like you can go there and then if Sri Lanka doesn't want you in, they'll let you back. So they couldn't release us till we go. So we ended up in the office drinking coffee with these people, which you shouldn't be doing because you're going to need, you know, but we had a way of sorting that out in flight. But anyway, we eventually got airborne at about 10 o'clock that morning. So that's right into the flight. You know? But now we weren't going to put it off another 24 and leave the next morning. So, and now it is the heaviest this airplane had ever taken off. It was my turn. What we did, we religiously, on James and I, would swap each leg. One person, we you know, rock, paper, and scissors for the first flight, and then we would swap this leg's mine, that's yours, and that leg was mine to be PIC in the left seat. So I got to take this plane off, which is also amazing. I test flew when we built this design. I got lucky and got the test flight, the first test flight. I don't know if I was lucky or if they said you do it because they were scared, but so I also got to do the takeoff with this airplane at this incredible mass. I mean, we were so overgrown. Luckily, we were at sea level, and the runway went like this, and there was sea. We take off now late because of admin problems. With all that in mind, and our GPS tracker, our satellite tracker, was also not working. So we were kind of, it was wonderful because we were out there alone. So now we flew, and we had this most beautiful sunset, orange. We got beautiful pictures, this orange sunset, and the sky was clear. So we thought, this is great. And of course, now from sunset to the middle of the night, now it's dark, nothing more to see. We hadn't seen one single ship or anything, and you're really feeling out there alone. And I was flying, James was sleeping. He brought this ready. He brought a toothbrush, a pair of underpants, and a pillow, and a jacket. And the pillow being the important thing, and he was like having this good sleep. And a few hours into the night, I woke him up. I said, it looks like clouds. And he this interesting, looked up, and he said, it was very dark, no moon. And he looked at this and he said, like, no, it's nothing, man. Back to sleep, almost slightly irritated. So I said, okay, cool. You've done this all before, let's see. Boom, going. This is the ITCZ though, you know, but anyway, and we kept going. And a few hours later, we had kind of shifts, and it was my shift. I was feeling strong, and I left it, and at something, it looked very dark, but I could see no horizon. We're on autopilot. You could kind of see the sea, but it was dark. And I switched on the landing lights. We had very good double landing lights, and suddenly I just like, wow. And there was this huge cloud over the top of us, and we were flying into this big white, amazing, that I knew there's trouble because of these big cumulus clouds. And like, wow, okay. So I looked at James and said, no, I'm going to leave this till the last minute. Switched off the lights, and we go, you know, those are like 30, 40,000 foot clouds, and it's too late to go back. We've been airborne for more than 10 hours. We're going, and we're going in under. I'm starting now. I can make out the clouds, and I switch the lights on every now and again. See, okay, we're gonna wait, and eventually I woke him up and I said, what do you think? The lights were off, and I said, what do you think? And it was like, ah man, it's nothing. I said, yep, and I switched the lights on. And I mean, out there, that light, it was like, and I mean, James, you can't, you know, James is like, ah, it's nothing, man. James. And I mean, we're looking at these, you can imagine, we were only at about 5,000 to 6,000 feet, and you can imagine what 30,000 feet of clouds looks like when you know, it's like we're looking out the plane like this, you know. It's like, wow. And I'd had time to be wondered, and I just like looked at him and I smiled. He's like, ah, okay, what do we do? Now we're starting to fly in between these clouds, and you've seen storm clouds, they are huge. And now with the lights on, you could see them boiling. So there was no ways you could go into those clouds. And so we started climbing a bit, and we were climbing like over these clouds, and in between we're starting to get like a little bit of trouble now, because you could try and go around, but we were going to try and get through. And by the grace of God, I don't know why, but we were, if our wing went into the cloud, it was vicious. It was break up airplane vicious. It was like, so it was like, and now we stopped worrying about using gas, putting on gas to get up over this, because you touch in it, and wow, it was horrific. And we suddenly saw a hole in the cloud, and I just instinctively switched off the autopilot. I said, let's go, and we just dived down in a very steep kind of spiral. The airplane is so heavy that as soon as we did that, it kind of slid down, and we dropped down about 3 turns down. And of course altimeter doesn't work anymore because we're in the middle of storms, and so we used the GPS altitude to gauge our height above sea. And at 800 feet we turned onto course, put on the autopilot, and flew straight into the most torrential rain, which we sat in for the rest of the night all the way to Sri Lanka, and we got hammered. And James just got out the fuel book and started doing calculations. Whenever he got nervous, he'd get the book out and start doing calculations. I think it's his way of managing stress. And the whole night we were going through rain, out of rain, thinking it's all over, into rain, try and climb a bit, just get nailed by clouds and things, down again. And so we were getting, now I'd flown quite a long time, so then we were both flying, and then I got exhausted and I was having my sleep. And James doesn't get scared in the airplane, doesn't get nervous, but sleeping, and he suddenly, John, and he wakes up, engine out, like, and you wake up, you can't believe it. You've flown all this time, and you know in your mind you are in the middle of the ocean, 2,000 miles from the nearest thing, you know. So to put it in perspective, and you haven't spoken to anyone for 15 hours, you know, it's just like, wow. And he's telling me engine out, and I'm hearing the engine still running. He says, yeah, it was just spluttering. He said, I don't know, you know. And I was in the left-hand seat, but I was like, didn't even look up. And I said, it sounds fine. And just then, and I saw the fuel pressure going down. And so I flipped on the second gas pump, and it went under like I said, and I just fell back to sleep. And that was extreme exhaustion. Anyway, and James normally is casual in an airplane, very relaxed because he's a superb pilot. James is on the edge of his seat, like looking, because you were looking over the carding to try and see a gap. You were looking at you just sensory overload, because it's at night, it's in storms, so your exhaustion came from looking for ways around and up. And then it was fine for a while, and then he woke me up, and the plane was turning after we'd spoken to an island group 200 miles off our left about an hour ago. So after this gas thing, he wakes me up and he says, John. I say, what? He says, oil pressure. And there's a big banner on the screen going, doom, oil pressure, low oil pressure, boom. And like, now what can I do? You know, I'm like, and he's turning. I say, why are you turning? He says, no, we go for those islands. I said, that's 200 miles. That's probably 1,000 miles. It's the oil pressure. We're going to just go down anyway. Let's go back on course, you know. And I looked at that, and I saw all the engine instruments were moving around a bit. So I realized it's something to do with, and I just took my hands out of one or anything, and I just did this under the panel. Boom! And it came right. And so I went back to sleep. And so that happened again a little later, and I did the same and it sorted out. So we realized it's an indication problem. Anyway, that was our trip through the Indian Ocean. We got to Sri Lanka. We found what the problem was with the gas pump, and we fixed it. It was a blocked little filter, and it's just as well it happened there on that round, because otherwise the other one would be blocked on the next one. They periodically block because of something in the fuel tanks in the manufacturing process, lint from a cloth. So anyway, we got away with that. And we always said the thing that could end this trip would be something like a grain of sand in a jet. So when we built the airplane, we were really anal about cleanliness in everything, because we couldn't go down. And then it turns out the lint from the cloth, which you couldn't even see, went through the main filter and blocked the little filter in the pumps. So it just shows you lint nearly put us in the ground, or into the water.